What is going on YouTube? Well, I got something new. 2020 Zero DSR. I got it on July 1st from Piston Society in Cincinnati over the Rhine. Big shout out to those guys, Tim and Chris. They're pretty awesome getting me hooked up. I bought it as a demo model. It had 83 miles. So they knocked some off the price and got her done. So today is the 4th of July, so happy Independence Day to America. So I thought I'd make a quick little video about my thoughts and impressions so far on the 2020 DSR, Zero DSR. First thing I gotta say, man, this thing's a beast. So this isn't my first Zero. I had a Zero FXS for less than 2 weeks. I'll put a card to that. Check it out. So compared to the FXS, this thing's got a bigger battery and a bigger motor, but it's a heavier bike. I'll tell you what, this thing will boogie. All within legal speed limits, of course. Very fun bike. I sold the Suzuki DR650. Sorry to see that go. It's been an awesome bike. But I'm getting older and I wanted to experience the future before it's too late. Some people say, you know, why don't you wait 5 or 10 years till the electric vehicle technology catches up, the batteries and whatnot, and you know, that puts me, you know, 5 or 10 years of not riding an electric vehicle when I can have the technology that's out there now and experience while I can still ride. I'm not a spring chicken. So when I bought the bike, that's in Cincinnati, Piston Society's in Cincinnati, and I live in Dayton. So I wanted to make sure that I could, you know, ride at home one, and when it comes time for service, I could ride down to Cincinnati and back. I think it's like 55 miles one way. And this thing doesn't have the charge tank, it just has the trunk or the frunk. Which I love this thing. So I bought the bike and it was 100% charged, and I rode it home. I did take most back roads, 45 miles an hour average, I would say. I was on the highway for a little bit. But I got home and I only used 40% of the battery, and there was still 60% of the battery left. So I ran out to the B&B and did a couple other things, and I got back on the bike the same day I got it. I didn't charge it, and on the way up, on the way up from Cincinnati, I kept it in eco mode, trying to get the most efficiency, you know, that whole range anxiety thing. That's the longest ride I've done on an electric bike, motorcycle. So when I got back from the B&B and all that, I took it out again and I rode another, I think it was like 45 miles that evening, and I was giving it the beans. And I still had like 40% battery left. Like, wow. So I'm really glad that this thing's got the 14.4 kilowatt hour battery in it, and it's exactly why I wanted it, for a little more range over the FXS. Now that was an awesome bike. I wonder if the Air Force Museum is open. Looks like it. Maybe we'll pull in there, check out the charging situation. This thing's definitely a little bit heavier than the FXS. So I eventually want to get the back rack on it for a handhold so I can maneuver this thing around a little bit. It's definitely a tall bike. I'm 5'8" with a 32-inch inseam, and I can't put both feet flat on the ground. Kind of lean to one side and flat-footed, but I mainly just tippy-toe it. I'm used to that DR being a tall bike. Yeah, it looks like they're open. This is such a cool place. I don't think I'll go in, but I heard there's level 2 charging here. I think this building here is an old air base from World War II. If I'm not mistaken. How cool is that? So I'm really pleased with this thing so far. So when I've been riding it, I've been not trying to kill the battery, but just seeing how much it would take to wear it out. And the riding that I do, I mainly commute and very little highway. So I think this is a pretty good situation for me. I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know if you heard that, but the back brake kind of sounds like a squealing chipmunk sometimes. I don't know if that's normal. Well, look at what we got here. Electric vehicle. So obviously I don't have the J1772, but I wanted to see if there was a 110 outlet. So one of the things I want to do to this thing is get the rack, get a case, get a quick charger, plug in a J1772 connector, and then plug into the Anderson connector down here. So I can utilize this, but obviously I can't right now. And I don't see a 110 outlet. Obviously I don't want to park here without charging, so
Is that an electric bike?
yeah.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Who makes that?
Zero.
Okay. Wow, I never. That's pretty cool.
It is very cool.
How many miles can you go on a charge?
About 170, 165 in the city, about 100 on the highway.
Okay. Wow, that's pretty cool, dude.
I'm recording a YouTube video. You want to be on it?
Not really.
Okay, I'll edit you out.
But no, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it is cool. All right, that guy didn't want to be on video, but he said how very cool the bike was. So I'll try to find a 110 outlet somewhere. I'd love to go out there. Well, I really don't have plans on off-roading this thing. When I was down at Piston Society for a test ride, I had it in my mind that I was going to buy a S or an SR. I kind of talked about that in my previous videos. An S with the charge tank, or an SR with the bigger battery and no charge tank. So when I got down there, Chris took me out for a test ride, and we took off. He was on a S and I was on this, the DSR. We rode around. He took me up to Eden Park. I'd never been up to Eden Park. That was a very cool place, and a great place to ride. And then we got up there, we swapped, and I got on this DSR. Look how slow you can go on these things. They are so stable. Doing 2 miles an hour, 1 mile an hour. Very cool. So on the way back, I got on the DSR, not thinking that I'd actually like it better than the S. I think what I liked about the DSR better than the S was I'm sitting up higher. I'm more upright. On the S, I was leaning forward and my weight was on my wrists a little bit more. And one of the reasons why I wanted to get rid of the DR and move to an electric bike is no clutch. I broke my wrist a couple times as a kid, and I got a little arthritis. So I tell you what, if you're thinking about a Zero, definitely test ride what you think you might like. I thought I was into the S or the SR, and it turns out that the DSR was a better fit because I'm upright and my weight is not on my wrist like the S series, the S or the SR. So that made a huge difference. So thank you, Chris. Well, I do not see any 110. There's some dedicated motorcycle parking over there. I thought I'd get off the bike and kind of record a couple things. So one of the things I was looking forward to with the S or the SR was a smaller seat height and being able to flat foot it, which I could on the S. To be a little more secure, I guess. And it's not really a factor on this thing. I mean, I'm very used to a tall bike coming from the DR 650. So that's not really as much as a factor as I thought it would be. And I do like sitting up taller a little bit, overlooking traffic. That's kind of a safety feature. Speaking of safety, I don't have my jacket or armor on, and I normally 100% always do that. It's just that it's over 90 degrees right now, and this place is really cool. If you play Ingress or Pokemon Go, this is the place to go. There are so many portals and Pokestops in this field. So there's the motorcycle parking. I don't see any 110. Look up this way. This is handicapped. Oh, there's a screaming gerbils. I'll find a parking spot out here. So I've been playing with the custom mode on this thing. I kind of like the setup. I got the torque up to 100%, the regen down to 0. No, I got the regen down to, I think, 30. Regen down to 30. The brake regen at 100. I lowered the speed down to what was it? I think 80. The bike is listed for 102 miles an hour, but I noticed in the app you can change it to 110. I don't need to be going that fast, so I lowered it down to 80. I'm not gonna be going that quick. So one of the things I don't like about the Zeros, and I know they have a workaround now, but the bike is off, but it still rolls. So on an ice bike, you'd be in first gear, but on a Zero, it still rolls. So you put this kickstand down, and if you're on an incline, the kickstand can fold up and your bike can roll away. I know they make a lever and a cable and something on the caliper, or maybe they replaced the caliper, I'm not sure, but it's like an emergency brake, and that's the solution. Now I know that Zero at one time did sell a yellow plastic clip that goes on here, and it clips your front brake lever tight and you can leave it like that and it won't roll away. I know a lot of people use like a Velcro strap and park it and put the front brake on. But I just absolutely love this color scheme. Those golden wheels are kind of funky. They're growing on me. Got that one touch of blue on the rear shock. So, what the heck? My plug came out. That's where you put the charger. And then, while I'm down here, the other Anderson plug is right here. I don't know if you can see that. Fully adjustable back and front shocks. I thought about removing the tail, but I know there's a plastic piece that you can buy and put here and keep the rain off of you. I do plan on commuting with this thing, light rain, and I usually ride anywhere above 32 degrees, so I might just keep that on there, keep the rain off of me. One of the things I wanted to show you, I didn't really see any videos on YouTube about this, but how big this trunk is. So, garage door opener, I just got a couple shop towels down here just to keep rattles down. I bought one of these outlet checkers, so when I come up to something I can check it, see if it's live, instead of taking out the cord, plugging it in, see if it works or not. I can just right up, check it, see if it's live, and then plug it in. Kind of save some time. See if it's a good outlet too, because this will tell me if it's grounded or not. But let's see, that's half of my forearm deep. Thing's pretty deep. So this is the Zero answer to a helmet lock. This is something I haven't really seen on the internet or YouTube. So you put this around the metal D-ring on your helmet, and then you put this loop right on these two little pegs. Then you close this and lock it, and you set your helmet right there. Well, I don't know if I like that or not. I think it's a band-aid solution. So these two little pegs, they don't look very secure, let's just say that. So I don't know if I'll be using that or not. But that's a really good size trunk. And I can see myself going through a drive-through or something and throwing my meal in there and riding away. I usually ride with a backpack, so once I get the back rack and some sort of Pelican case or something like that, that'll be some storage. But I do plan on putting that quick charger in there with the J1772 plug, and then the Anderson for a quick charge when I need it. I do plan on getting a 12 volt accessory port in there. This is just a rubber plug that comes out, so I can plug in a USB to the phone. What else do I plan on doing to this? I'd like to get some Custom Tailor 33, you can look it up on Amazon, Custom Tailor 33 rim tape for this thing. I had that on my DR650, and that is some extremely reflective rim tape. So I was trying to decide what color would go good with this bike rim tape. So there's a black rim tape that shines white, obviously, when it gets hit with light. So I think that would go good. There's like a yellow to match the rims. I don't know about that. But what I thought about, and chime in with comments about this, is, see that blue shock? I thought about blue rim tape on the wheels. So this rim tape, you guys, is so reflective, and this is an electronic or electric bike. So when the light hits it, it looks like a Tron bike. And I'm not kidding. It is extremely bright and reflective. So I'm thinking about blue, but the blue on the gold. So let me know what you think. I like the pegs. This is a tree trunk of a kickstand, isn't it? It's kind of short. I wish it was a little bit longer so the bike set up a little bit higher. So this is a little heavier bike, so when I'm getting off of this thing, there's a little bit of fall before the kickstand hits, and that weight of that, just a couple inches of fall, it's kind of disconcerting to me a little bit, but I'm sure I'll get used to it. I've only had this thing 4 days, so I'm sure I'll get used to it. I believe Zero just released LED turn signals, so I might do that at some point. But I'm kind of the mindset of, if it's not broke, don't fix it. So maybe I won't. That's one thing I don't understand Zero. Maybe it's a cost-cutting thing. But the front headlight, taillight, turn signals, they're all incandescent bulbs. Oh, halogen maybe for the headlight. I'm not sure what it's called. But why they didn't go with LED on an electric motorcycle is beyond me. So I believe this, I haven't taken it out yet, I believe this is just a plug. And I believe there's it's like a sight window, an LED sight window. You can see the state of the battery. The BMS, I think, battery management system. If anyone knows, chime in on the comments, please. Now, supposedly there's a button somewhere that you can press and hold and it'll reset the BMS. I'm not sure if that's it. Like I said, I think that's just a plug, and you take that off and it's a sight window to LEDs. It looks like can get to the bulbs pretty easily to change the headlight. What else? Oh, I want to get the hand guards for this thing. I had those on the DR, and man, that does a really good job of cutting the wind in the winter. The wind off the hands. Now I heard Barkbuster jets will work on this, but I'm not certain. If anyone knows, let me know on a DSR. I hate people that, well, I don't hate them, but I hate it when people leave their trash for other people to pick up. That's not cool. Pick up your trash, people. PSA announcement. Yeah, what an awesome bike. I like it a lot. So the 600-mile service is coming up pretty quick. Crafted in California. Made in America, USA. That's one thing I'm riding. You know, the whole motorcycle wave thing. Well, a lot of I'm not bashing anybody, but a lot of the Harley guys won't wave unless they're Harleys. Well, this bike is probably more American than their Harleys, and they don't realize that. So you Harley guys, don't assume you've got the most American bike out there. Alright, soapbox done. Alright, well, that's all I wanted to do, is just kind of go over this bike a little bit. Let's see, 345 miles. So a little over halfway to the 600-mile service. And I looked over the checklist for the service, and I think the biggest thing in there is they check the motor sync, motor timing. So I hope everything's okay. I mean, everything seems to be running great. My last Zero only made it to 271 miles before it died. So this one surpassed that. And I had the old one for 11 days, so we're on day 4 here. I really hope to have this thing for many years. I'm sure I will. That's another thing. This thing is so quiet. And coming up on pedestrians, I almost need like a little bell. I can get like a Hello Kitty little squeaky horn. Or a Snoopy maybe. No, just kidding. I want to get some sort of a bell that I can ring to warn pedestrians. I don't want to go honking the horn and scaring them. You guys ever get a chance to go here, I highly recommend it. Very cool place. Alright, I think I'm going to end this video and take some pictures for my Instagram. And I'll make more videos about this DSR. Alright, YouTube. See ya.